Hello, Akshay. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? So, what are we talking about?
On today's podcast, I was reading about some interesting information online. Do you know tetrachromats?
No, I don't believe I have heard of them.
Okay, basically, you know how normal human beings have 3 different types of cone cells that help us pick up color?
Yeah, you mean like the RGB cells?
Yeah.
Or like red, green, and blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We studied that stuff for the MCAT, remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But basically, I was reading about this, right? So normal humans have those 3 cone types. Yeah. So what happens when we have those 3 cone types is that we can pick up the whole rainbow. Like,
Right.
all the colors that we see right now, that's a result of everything that we have as our cone cells. And, like, the combinations of colors that are triggered when these cone cells are triggered by different amounts.
Yeah, like I know like that purple isn't like actually purple, it's just a combination of like red and blue, right?
Yeah,
Basically.
right?
Yeah.
So if those 2 cone cells get fired in that specific combination, in those specific amounts, that's when we see the color purple. Like, it's all about, like, the ratios and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I was reading about this, right? Apparently dogs have less cone cells than we do.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that we have read about before.
Yeah, right? Like, that wasn't new information. And, like, that's why they can't see as many colors as us. Like, they see the world mostly in gray.
Gray?
Like,
Are they able to tell, like... I've heard that even though they're unable to see, like, color like we do, they're able to, like, see particular shades. So, even though, like, they can't see color, they can still identify, like, who's who and what's what.
Yeah, because for identification, you don't really need color.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's mostly about the figure, the form, the dimensions of everything.
Yeah, like the inner position as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all those different cues that, like, they don't really need color for it. But, like,
really
just imagine, how would you feel if you just saw the world in gray? Like, do you feel like you'd miss out?
I think because I've seen color, and, like, if I were to just go colorblind all of a sudden, I think I would find the world very depressing. But I think that if I was, born colorblind, I don't think it would have made a difference because I wouldn't know what experiencing color is. Like, think about it. Like, how can you, like, explain to someone what the color red is? Like, you can't.
It's hot. it's how fire feels.
No, try to explain it. Try imagining a color that you've never even seen before. You can't. It's impossible.
I mean, I guess you could describe them on emotion somehow, but those, like, I guess it's mostly how we've attributed them. So, like, we see red commonly in, like, fast food, or, like, the heat, or fire.
How would you know that if you have never seen color? Like, how do you explain color to a person who's never seen color before?
Well, when we're looking at, like, a red light, they see something, but it's just not the same as we do. It is something different.
So, let's say, I could see yellow, and you couldn't see yellow. How would you describe that to me?
If I could see it, but you couldn't.
Yeah, how would you describe that to me?
It's the frequency at approximately
500
nanometers.
No.
It comes after red on the electromagnetic spectrum.
You also got the wavelength wrong, by the way, on that. It was 570, but I digress.
Dude, what? Bro, you're the problem here now.
Anyway.
You're calling me out for describing on the frequencies?
I mean, yeah, anyway, back to the conversation, right?
Okay, fine.
So,
Fine. I should have studied more, I guess.
Are there, like, what if there were, like, people who could see, like, more colors than us, you know?
More colors?
Yeah.
Dude, are we the ones that are missing out then? Like...
That's what I always wondered, right? Because, like, we can only see RGB, but there's, like, other species, like the mantis shrimp, that can see, like, 27 different, like, colors, like, different color rods. Like, I don't, like, what are they seeing that we're not?
Okay, like, I think to try understanding what the hell that they are seeing, like, we need to understand the gaps between people who can see less colors than us versus us. Like dogs, they can't imagine the color like blue or something.
Right, but you wouldn't.
So I wouldn't be able to imagine having more colors at all. Like, you know the one colorblind test that they make us do at the doctor's office?
Yeah.
Like, we see the hidden numbers, but then colorblind people can't see those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that we wouldn't lose functional ability just because we only have 3 cones, because stuff like that doesn't exist in the world, like, that
true.
much. Like, other species, they might use colors to find mates or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the other colors that they see might be really important to them, but, like, as humans, it's not really that important to us that we see other colors that don't exist.
Well, I kind of, I kind of disagree on that notion. Like, just because like you don't use color for mating doesn't mean color is not important. For example, like color is like used by us to determine like which types of plants are like poisonous or not. Like we use that as a differentiating factor for like different like substances. Oh, this one is good. This one kills.
I guess.
Like we still like having more senses is never like a bad thing, right? It can only help you.
Could it lead to overload for your brain?
Overload for the brain? Well, then the brain just has to adapt, no?
Like, okay, we evolved all these years to see this many colors.
Right.
Like, would it really give an advantage to see more?
Okay, but here's the argument that you're making. You're just saying like, oh, we can't see different colors, but like, think about like infrared goggles, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't lose our minds when we see like infrared through those goggles. It's like, no, it's just like we're able to like see it and identify it, and like it doesn't really harm us at all. It's the same concept. Like, I don't think you would have like brain overload if you were to like introduce like new cones to like the human eye. And the reason why I think this is because like once again I'm going to bring back the example of the mantis shrimp, right? Like the mantis shrimp has way more cones than us, but their brain is significantly smaller and a lot less complex than ours. So I really don't think that like we as human beings would have like this brain overload that you're like speaking about if we were to like have more cones.
Okay. I think the mantis shrimp would be way too many. Like 27 different types of cone cells. Like we can't even imagine the world that they live in.
But wouldn't that?
But like for humans, I think we can handle like a few extra, like one extra or two extra maybe. Like I know that tetrachromats exist, so people that have 4 different types of cone cells. Like people like that exist in the world. And I was reading about this too, like in some articles. They can see more colors than we can. Like there's a common color differentiation test that people use. Like they give two different colored tiles or something like that, and they ask the people if they're the same color or the different color. Tetrachromats could actually identify much more differences than just normal trichromats could. But like, here's also the weird thing, right?
Right.
I think color as it is, like it's not even mostly about the actual number of cones. It's also about your development, like psychologically and culturally.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, I noticed this when I went to India, right?
Right.
Like, over here, what color is, like, the inside of an egg?
Yellow.
Right? It's yellow, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've heard everyone here saying it is.
Right.
But when I went to India, right? They started calling it orange.
Huh.
Like,
that's interesting.
Orange. It's straight up orange.
Do they?
Like, I have this problem with the color orange a lot. Like, what color is the upvote button on Reddit?
It's orange.
No, it's red.
No, it's orange.
It's literally red.
It's clearly
dude.
orange.
Dude, I will run tests with
maybe
like
you're colorblind, but like it's clearly orange.
Dude, I don't know about you, but that's red, dude. Like, look, I saw that problem with the color orange a lot. Like, it's just so
You know another
like,
problem I have with color?
What?
Like, let's say like you're in a class, right?
Yeah.
And the teacher administers a test that like gives 4 different option choices as 4 different colors. Like, imagine if you're colorblind. Like, what do you even do at that point, dude?
Imagine
like, what do
you're
you
playing
even do?
Kahoot, which is in every class these days.
I mean, the thing about Kahoot though is that at least they have the shape, so you can differentiate it based off of that.
Yeah, but when your friends scream out the answers, oh, never mind. The answers that your friends scream out are usually wrong, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's probably better not to see color in Kahoot, so you don't just follow your friend when he says it's blue, but it's actually red. Okay. Going back to the culture thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading about this a while ago.
Yeah.
So English, we have like 7 main colors that people use.
Right.
Like red, orange, yellow, green, blue.
Roy Bijev, yeah.
Green, blue, purple. Like
Violet,
no. Americans don't really make the distinction between violet and indigo. Like if I showed you indigo versus violet, would you be able to tell me which one is which?
Probably not.
Yeah, but like some people would. Like I've noticed that like a lot of my friends who are into like lipsticks, they can tell colors a lot better than I can.
Well, that's probably because like they've just invested more time into like trying to like differentiate it.
Yeah, right. So now imagine you grew up in a culture that just never had the color like the word orange at all.
Okay, but here's the thing, right?
Like so you only grew up with like the colors like blue or something.
But the thing is, like, I think that like if someone were to show you, you would be eventually able to differentiate it, right?
But
like,
not as well.
Like, I think that we could learn to differentiate indigo and violet pretty well.
Yeah, we can probably learn to do it, but like
I think the most important part is like having the sense itself, right? Because like you can always learn from someone how to differentiate the different colors, like what to pay attention to, but you can't like learn a scent, dude. Like how do you like teach color to someone who's like colorblind? I don't think that's possible.
You can show them objects that are that color, but then they'll see something different. But they'll just attribute that different thing to how that thing always looks. So like trees, like they don't see the green that we do, but they still see a color that's there. It is not green. So they can still attribute things to each other, which they just can't tell apart as much stuff. Like, I was looking at this one study. They showed, there's this one tribe in Africa that doesn't have that many colors. It's like only blue, red or something.
Okay.
Green. Like the major colors that you see in the world, in like the wild, like brown.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Like you see trees are green, you see like the sky is blue, the water is blue. So like they call those colors the name, like, okay, so for blue they just use the word for the sky.
Okay.
Because like why would you need a color for blue? Like what else is blue other than the sky and water?
I mean, some rocks. I know there's this one.
Like you're not gonna find those very often. You'll just call them sky-colored rocks. Like you'll just call them sky rocks, right?
Sky rocks? What about like blue-colored fish? What do you call those? Skyfish?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, it's weird to us, but like it works. Like we only need the color blue because we're living in this world of like Google Maps, like Facebook, like all these artificial blue colors. Otherwise, like the color blue isn't like you don't really need it that much. You can just use the word sky.
Yeah.
So like they found that tribe can't really tell color as much as we can.
Huh, that's interesting.
Like they can't pinpoint differences between color as easily as we can.
But you also have to take it like going back to like the color blue.
Yeah.
Right. They actually found that like there's only one species in the entire world that like can produce like a naturally blue pigment, and that's like
right.
with one specific butterfly.
It's no wait, wasn't the butterfly like using holes or something?
No, that was a different species of butterfly. There's one particular species that has like very light blue pigment. Yeah. That's the only species in the world that produces blue pigment. No scientist has uncovered the secret as to why like most animals aren't pigmented blue. But
I mean, it seems pretty hard.
What specifically about blue is hard though? Like that's what I don't understand.
Let's put in the UV visit and find out.
Well, that's
let's go over to OChem lab and find out. But like, okay, going back to tetrachromats, like it's very interesting because I was looking at this other study. So like the tetrachromats usually have parents who are also tetrachromats, but then sometimes they don't.
Huh.
So the tetrachromats who had parents that are also tetrachromats, like they in their household used a bunch of language that like normal families wouldn't use to describe colors.
Huh.
So yeah, they were describing colors as like some stuff that like we wouldn't be able to relate to. And those families that like the tetrachromats whose mothers were also tetrachromats, they could identify colors better than tetrachromats who didn't have family members who were also tetrachromats.
Well, that makes sense though, but I feel like if you were to like indoctrinate the tetrachromats who don't have parents that are tetrachromats.
Indoctrinate them?
Okay, maybe not indoctrinate them, but like
let's indoctrinate.
Like
I'm gonna indoctrinate you. You see that
Okay.
color up there?
You mean
That's not actually red. That's actually #F2P73. Let's just talk in hex color codes from now on.
you mean like 35 or 50?
Yeah.
30 green, like
Yes.
stuff like that.
I have studied in my Microsoft Word very well.
Huh.
Yeah, but like I think culture and like your environment and the language that people also use around you, that helps a lot in distinguishing colors and like how your brain perceives color, I think. Like I think it's not just completely about your like the actual cone cells that you have. But it'd be really interesting to have like 27, you said, cone cells that like the mantis shrimp has.
Not cones, not necessarily.
Yeah, they have
different types of cones.
Yeah, different types of cones. Okay. Like, just imagine the world. Like, we're missing out, dude.
Yeah, we are. But like, at the end of the day, humans can always adapt, overcome, and improve. So.
Yeah.
Who knows? We might see that in the future. Maybe Google Glass will like.
Okay, I saw this.
Something.
Yeah, I did see this one thing. So you know how like colorblind people they're lacking one cone.
Yeah.
So usually, like the spectra for I think red and green, I think. They're kind of close to each other. So I saw this one company that made colorblind glasses.
Yeah.
So basically what it does is it splits it blocks out a section of light, which is the overlap between red and green, so that like they'll be able to tell red and green more distinctly. So it basically gets rid of the tones that are in between red and green, and it only allows the actual like furthest green and the furthest red to show up.
Interesting.
So colorblind people could actually start seeing color a little more. Just because of the glasses and this invention.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw this one YouTube video where they're reacting, like colorblind people were reacting to putting them on for the first time.
Oh my god.
That thing was cool.
How do you know that those reaction videos weren't fake though?
Because I searched it up everywhere. Dude, color's so interesting. Because I paint too. Like oil colors, watercolors and stuff. It's so cool how many combinations you can make between everything.
Yeah.
And put it together. But like, what if in the future scientists make some glasses that allow like normal vision people to do that same thing?
That's what I was saying. Maybe Google Glass will like invent something that just like allows you to see like every color in existence.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I can't wait for that to happen.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thank you, Himanshu, for this wonderful call. I will see you next time you invite me on your show.
Sign up next time on Himanshu's podcast.